Okay, so we're now on box 13, and this box is actually a box that came from Melcon. And when we were at Melcon, we had a flea market, and I purchased a few games, and some of them are in here. I can see them. So I think we should start with those, don't you? One of them that I purchased and I'm so excited about is Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu. So I love the Pandemic games. I really enjoyed that series. I've played the Rising Tide, the regular Pandemic, Pandemic the Cure, Pandemic Rapid Response, and now Reign of Cthulhu. So I haven't played this one yet, but I also really enjoyed the Cthulhu-themed horror games. So this just seems like a winning combination to me. So I purchased that one. It looks cool. So that's, from what I understand, you're trying to stop the cultists before they spread across the world, and I don't know yet. We'll have to find out. So that's one of the games I had purchased at the Melcon Flea Market, and that's Reign of Cthulhu. This is another one that I purchased there, and actually it's still in shrink, and it's Les Charlatans de Belcastel, which is basically Quacks of Quinlanberg, but the French version. And I was looking at it, and I mean, it's just to kind of know what each card do, and then I can easily explain that to everybody, that having a French game, it probably wouldn't be that bad of a situation. So, and I didn't own Quacks of Quinlanberg. I've played it a few times. Lee doesn't love the whole bag building push your luck thing with it too much. So it's not one that he enjoys to play all that much, but I quite enjoy it. So now I have my own French version, which I'm completely okay with. And then I also have in here, also in shrink, Danger Park. I was kind of reading a little bit on it, and basically is you are running a theme park, and you try to get as much as you can into it before you permanently get shut down because everything is falling apart and it's not very safe. The game itself looks quite neat. So I'm pretty excited to give this one a try. I haven't heard tons and tons about it, but it looks cool. Then I have in here XLegris, which is a game. This is one that I was tempted with. I had heard lots of good things about it, and I wanted to play it, and then I ended up buying it a little while back. Pretty sure I bought it secondhand. And it's really neat. So it's like a worker placement, and you're collecting these cards, which are different books, like a grouping of books, and you got to put them into your library, but you got to maintain the alphabetical and numerical order of how they're sorted in the library. But then you get reading the titles on this, and they're hilarious titles. Plus you get like certain criterias, you know, where you score more for certain like spell books, but the some of the books will actually give you negative points, and so you're trying to aim for certain books and kind of put things in your library and make sure that everything stays alphabetical and numerical within the alphabet as well. It's a really neat game. Plus there's different cards, so every round you bring out a new card and it gives you a new action you can do, and then so it'll change every time you play the game. So looks great. And then I have Wits and Wager. And I really enjoy this game. This is a party game that can play a huge group of people. And what it is you'll have a question where the answer is some sort of numerical answer. How much does the largest ostrich egg weigh in pounds? I don't know, I just made that up. Is it something in here? It might be. Who knows? But everybody then comes up with an answer on a dry erase board, and then you put all the answers in numerical order, and then you can bid on the answer. So you don't have to be correct. You just bid on whatever you want, and then whoever's the closest to the actual answer, and if you bid on there, then you would get points for it. It's fun. It's just an interesting one. It doesn't matter how much you know, because chances are you're not going to know any of these answers, but it's a fun one to play. And then I also have in here Chai. So Chai is I don't know, like it's a resource collecting game. Like you basically are collecting all the ingredients for making teas, because you're going to be fulfilling orders with them, and then when you fulfill the order, you get the points for it. The components in this games are amazing. The cups are like these tight plasticky, but like a rubber plasticky cup, but it's all like carved and metal coins, and you get the little tea leaves that are all like wooden tokens and like shaped. It's amazing. The components in this games are super great, and it's a fun little game to play, and I've played it a few times with a few people and it always goes pretty good, so try. And then I have Jamaica. So Jamaica is a game that I gotten from our family plays game, and they sent this over to me, and it's still in shrink because it arrived like the day or a couple of days before Malcon. So I brought it to Malcon, but nobody had opened it there, and it just looks really cool. So you're a pirate and you're racing your pirate ship around, but as you're going around, you're plundering and getting things. So it's a Bruno Cathala, Malcolm Braff, and Sebastian Pochon that created this game. It's oh, there's bonus first print exclusive figure of the ghost ship in here. I have no idea. I've never played this. I'm really excited to give it a try. So that's Jamaica. There's a lot of new games in this one. So I also have in here, this is like, my box is getting tippy. Oops, and this one kind of messed up a bit, so I'm just going to fix the cards here real quick. And this is a really neat game called Dr. Eureka. So it's kind of like a dexterity puzzle game, because you'll have a certain card that will give you a combination of how you want the beads in the test tubes to be, and then without ever touching the beads, you gotta like pour them into one another and trying to recreate that pattern as quickly as you can, and the first player to do so takes the card, and the first player to collect 5 cards is the winner. And then that's Dr. Eureka. We have tons of fun with this, and it's a tricky one, because you can't drop your beads or your marbles, whatever they're called. It's just a neat, fun game. I also have in here Race for the Galaxy. I've played Roll for the Galaxy a few times, which is the dice version of this game, and it's great. So I wanted to try Race for the Galaxy, so a friend of mine was selling it, so I bought it secondhand, and it's like the card version of it. What I understand is it's difficult to learn, which honestly Roll for the Galaxy also was. It took me a long time to kind of, as I'm playing the game, to figure out what am I trying to do here. But once you get it, you get it. So I'm hoping that having played Roll for the Galaxy makes learning Race for the Galaxy easier. So that's one I'd like to play. I also have in here King of Tokyo. This is actually the game that kind of got me to the hobby. My brother gifted this to me for my birthday, and I hadn't really, like, I played a lot of board games, but it was mostly party games, you know, whatever they had at Walmart. I'd heard of like the hobby games and then the all of these games. So when I first saw this, I'm like, why did he get me a kid's game? Because it's very like cartoony looking, and then I didn't think it was an adult game, but I mean, and definitely you can play this with kids. It's a lot of fun, but it's a great game, and it's a easy, straightforward game. So this one I would say is more like a filler, but you know, at the time, that's the skill level I was at. And then I also have Dream Home. I bought this at the first FallCon that I attended at the flea market. And this one is really cool. So every player has their own player board, which is a house. And you got to build your room, and you're creating all these different rooms. And then, you know, your kitchen is worth so much point, but the bigger you make your kitchen, the more point it's going to be. And then if you're going to build up to the kitchen, all those cards have to be together. You're collecting roof cards, you're collecting like all these. It's a really neat, fun, and cutesy themed game. So I'm really enjoying this one. Dream Home. And that's it for this box. So be sure to tune in tomorrow and find out what I have in the next box for my game collection. So bye, everybody.